Hey guys, how's it going? It's 8-Bit Eric. Welcome back to the channel. We're going to talk some Resident Evil Village news. So I just recently reviewed this game, played it on a couple of live streams, might even continue doing a New Game Plus live stream, but there's some pretty interesting news in regards to this game and its sales. This article is from the UK. I know some of you guys might be like, oh, we don't give a crap about the UK news. That's all fair and dandy, but this is pretty impressive as far as sales go and should give you guys a ballpark idea of how it's going to go around the rest of the world in Japan and the United States. So this is about the box sales for the PlayStation 5 of Resident Evil. So according to this article, over half, almost half of Resident Evil Village of the copies sold is PS5. So Resident Evil Village sold nearly half of its copies on the PS5. That means more than the PS4, the Xbox One, and the Xbox Series X and Stadia and all that. Nearly half of them were just PS5 alone. That is humongous. So this news was first reported by GamesIndustry.biz, Chris Dring, and this is a UK-based site. So in the tweet below, he tweeted some stats from the past week for this game. So it's actually pretty interesting. According to this, it calls it an eyebrow-raising statistic for Resident Evil Village, considering the game not only launched on the PS5, but PC, Xbox, Series X, and Series S, and last gen with the PS4 and Xbox One. So the install bases of which far outweigh that of the PS5. There's more of those other consoles and platforms of a player base than the PS5. So for it to sell half or almost half, that's pretty impressive. Now, this is the tweet that they were talking about. So Resident Evil Village is the second biggest launch of the year so far behind Mario 3D World. So it's the second biggest launch of the year over in the UK box sales. 49% of its sales were on PS5. It's the third biggest PS5 game launch so far. And yeah, people are going to say, well, of course it's the third biggest. There's been no games coming out. And okay, fair argument as far as PS5 games go. But for this to be cross-gen, cross-platform, and different things, again, nearly half of its sales on the PS5, pretty impressive. Now, there is some exclusive PS5 features like the DualSense feedback and stuff like that. I don't know if that's exactly what caused more people to buy it on the PS5. For me, I just wanted to play it on the PS5. To me, a Resident Evil game is always going to be a PlayStation game, just because it started on the PS1, stuff like that. Now, sure, I played it on the GameCube in the past, but to me, I just wanted to get it on the PS5. No particular reason. Now, this article does go on to say that overall, though, Resident Evil Village is the second biggest game launch overall this year, beaten only by Nintendo's Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser Fury, which was a great fucking game. However, as Dring further reports, Village's physical game sales over the launch window are down 40% when compared to 2017's Resident Evil 7. So 40% down as far as physical. So that means more people bought it digitally. Now, he says it's worth bearing in mind that this is physical sales only, though, and we'll have to wait until digital sales data comes in to see how Village really stacks up against its predecessor. So GameIndustry.biz does physical box UK. So these are just physical stats, okay? Now, over the weekend, it emerged that Resident Evil Village is now Steam's most successful Resident Evil game ever. At peak player count over the launch weekend, Village eclipsed 100,000 active players, smashing the previous series record of 74,277, which was set by the original Resident Evil remake. 2019's Resident Evil 3 clocked in at just over 60,000 players at its peak on Steam, making Village an absolute smash hit success for Capcom on PC. So just to touch on that, that's a separate article that we got over here talking about it in regards to its performance on Steam. So coming right here, you could see Resident Evil Village is the biggest RE launch in Steam or Twitter history. So coming right here, you can see Resident Evil Village is here, and early signs are that it's a hit. So judging by the Steam player count and Twitch viewership, it's the biggest launch in the series history. So it hit a peak concurrent player count of 101,726 on day one, as Steam DB shows, which is the biggest PC launch for any game in the series. That's really impressive, actually. Now, I think it's because a lot of gamers are starved and thirsty for games, because we've had that slow drip feed. This was my most anticipated game of this year, to be honest. So I'm glad that it did pretty well. So again, this touches on the previous. Other modern points of comparison include the excellent Resident Evil 7, which was 20,449, and Resident Evil 2 Remake 74,227, and Resident Evil 3 60,293. So the success is carrying over to Twitch as well. Village reached well over 600,000 viewers earlier today, and no one massive streamer was responsible for that number. It's a combination of names, both big and small, suggesting that people are there as much for the game itself as the personality playing it. So that's pretty good. Now, I'm probably going to be doing a second run through the game. I played through it twice on stream the other day on Friday. Then I gave myself Saturday and Sunday to play by myself on it to avoid spoilers, since there's people in the chat. Now, with these same points of comparison, Resident Evil 7 reached 224,481 viewers at launch, as Sully Gnome shows. Resident Evil 2 Remake reached a peak of 314,244 viewers, and the RE3 Remake reached 318,002. So pretty nifty numbers here, honestly, as far as Resident Evil goes, and especially with those box sales as well. Pretty impressive. Again, I get the information from the UK box charts, and yeah, some people were like, "Hey, I'm over in the US. Why does it matter? UK doesn't matter." I think it's pretty impressive. It usually seems that it's harder to break through in the UK chart, especially the top 10, which has had Animal Crossing and like Mario Kart up there for so long. But you could see 49% of its sales were on PS5, 31% on PS4, and 20% on Xbox. And if you look at the charts, you could see there's still some of the same old suspects. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and FIFA are always up there in the top 5 for sure. Animal Crossing, Minecraft, Mario, GTA. So there's some of these games that have been in the top 10 for weeks. So for Resident Evil Village to break in and make #1 and become the third best PlayStation 5 launch game ever is pretty impressive. So we'll see again how digital sales go. We'll see how it did in Japan and the United States. I think this is going to be a really well done title, just solely because, again, people were starved for the game. So again, let's take a look at the top 10. You can see a lot of these usual suspects were in the top 10, every single one of them actually. And Resident Evil popped in on it. So congrats to Capcom for their success in the UK. Let's see how it goes next. We know when we get all these other stats. So let me know your thoughts overall. What were your thoughts on Resident Evil? I'm going to leave a link to my review down below if you haven't seen it yet. Comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't. I would love for you guys to join the nation. I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching, as always.